What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm at a hotel down here in Chicago for work, and I realized that the video I uploaded today, that the audio was all messed up, where I discussed Greg Gard and the transfer portal haul that he's brought into Wisconsin. The audio was all messed up. I thought it was a really solid video, so it's too bad, but I'm going to re-record this, and I'll even throw the video overlays onto the video. I'll edit this a little bit for you guys, but let's get right into the video. So, does Wisconsin have the NIL war chest to compete with the Dukes and the Kentuckys of the world and get the highest rated prospects? No. But Greg Gard, we saw what he did last year with John Tanjay. He found a diamond in the rough, a guy who was ranked like 300th in the country, and Tanjay was the best overall. Like in real life, he was the best player out of that transfer portal. And you look at what Greg Gard has done with Johnny Davis, with AJ Storr, with John Tanjay, and those guys have done far better at Wisconsin than they've done anywhere else. And I think that reputation is starting to spread around college basketball. Like Greg Gard, if he has talent, he'll make that talent look good. A lot of years, and this is because of Greg Gard's recruiting, the talent hasn't been that high. So Wisconsin has done what they could. They scrapped, they clawed, they had ugly games. But I'm really encouraged by the haul that Greg Gard has brought in so far. He's finding the right guys for his program. But before I talk about the guys that Greg Gard has brought in, let's talk about the guys going out. Starting with Xavier Amos, a guy who I had on the show for an interview, a guy who I had a great experience with, and a guy who I think has a bright future ahead of him. Xavier Amos, he's a guy who's a late bloomer. Like, he's probably still getting taller right now at 22 years old. Like, he got taller between his sophomore and his junior year, and you saw flashes of what he could do on the court, a little bit of everything for Wisconsin, but I wish the coaching staff could have kept him around because I think he's just scratching the surface of his potential. So I wish him the best. And then Daniel Freitag, he's a guy, there's a reason why he was a top 100, top 75 recruit. The dude is very quick, very athletic, very bouncy, very twitchy, got great handles, can shoot. It seems like he's going to take a step down to a mid-major, and I hope that he has a lot of success there, and I think he will have a lot of success there. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. So he's a guy I played one-on-one with on the channel, a guy who I interviewed multiple times. I wish him the best as well. But let's get into the portal haul that Greg Gard has brought in. Starting with Andrew Rohde, this is a guy coming home for his senior year at Wisconsin. And in the day and age of the transfer portal and NIL, it's much harder for me to find like good stories to root for. If Greg Gard got fired and there's 15 new players like it was at Louisville this last year, I wouldn't root for that. But seeing a guy coming home to Wisconsin, that's a decent story. Had a really good freshman year at St. Thomas, struggled his first year at Virginia, then had a really good year this past season, shooting 43% from the field. 41% from three. He's a guy who can dribble, pass. He's a high IQ player. He can shoot. I'm not sure if his defense will be as good as Max Klesmit, but you hope that he can kind of take that Max Klesmit role where Klesmit didn't shoot that well this last year. He was much more of a glue guy this year than he was the previous 2 years where he could score a little bit better. But you hope that he can take that role. I think that's a nice piece to a winning formula. But Nick Boyd is a guy who I'm very excited about. He's a six-year senior, just like John Tanjay was this last year. And in college basketball, it's a man's game. You saw it with the Duke Blue Devils, right? Even with a generational talent freshman leading the way in Cooper Flagg, and he had Con Knipple as a sidekick. But a freshman-led team, even with a generational talent, couldn't win the national championship. You saw them blow the lead against an older Houston squad. You look at the Final Four, Auburn, Houston, Florida, but especially Auburn and Houston, those are man's teams. Those are old teams, the 24-year-olds on it. And then even Duke, they brought in a six-year Mason Gillis. They brought in a fifth year in their starting lineup. They brought in some age, but my point is college basketball is a man's game. You need age, you need experience, and Nick Boyd is a guy who's 6'2", but he is a lefty. He's really silky smooth. He's quick and athletic. He can get into the lane and create for himself or for others. He's a career 37% three-point shooter. And what I think is cool is he has winning experience in the NCAA tournament. He was on that Florida Atlantic team his first 4 years in college where they made a Final Four before he transferred to San Diego State last year. Had a nice year for them, but he made the Final Four with them, and he actually had the game-winning layup against Memphis in the first round. So they don't make that run without him. And then the last guy they brought into the portal so far is Austin Rapp from Australia, 6'10" power forward who is a versatile guy. He's a really, really good shooter. Like for example, Stephen Krell, most of his shots came off the pick and pop. It was wide open set shots. Rapp is a guy who can catch the ball on the move and knock it down at 6'10". He doesn't move like a 6'10" guy. Like you can put him off screens, he's going to knock it down. And I also saw flashes of him putting the ball down on the floor. So I think him and Nolan Winter together at 6'10", 6'11", guys who can shoot and also put the ball on the floor, And so I hope Nolan Winter wins Big Ten player, or not Big Ten player of the year. I hope he's the Badgers' leading scorer. I hope he takes that big sophomore to junior step. We saw flashes of it, but I hope he kind of turns into that John Lure, where he's an NBA prospect this year or next year. But yeah, I think together those two are going to be a fun duo next to each other. And the one thing I think Wisconsin is still lacking in the portal, and I think a few of you might get mad at me for saying this, but they need a slashing wing still, and I happen to know a guy. AJ Storr, let me know your thoughts. I think most of you guys are going to say, hell no, don't bring him in. And I'm probably on the no side. But, like, he's been in the system. He can't do any in-season negotiating because his next step is trying to turn professional. If they can get him in the right headspace, I think that'd be an interesting portal addition, but probably not likely. But give me your thoughts. Should Wisconsin bring back AJ Storr? But overall, talking about the haul that Gard has brought in so far, I'm excited. Like, he's finding the right pieces to succeed in his program. And I think that reputation of Gard, when he gets talent and that talent doing well, I think that's spreading around the country, and guys are more willing to come to Wisconsin much sooner than they were last year. It took a while for Greg Gard to land anybody. So I think times are changing. I think these guys will perform better under Greg Gard than they did anywhere else. And that's all I got for you. It's late at night. I'm at this hotel room. I'm ready to go to bed. I have to go down to the lobby and get a $4 water bottle. They don't have anything in the fridge, which kind of sucks. But I'm kind of tired. Got to get some water. So please hit that subscribe button and the like button, because I made this video late at night because I messed up in the earlier one. You know, that's some dedication right there. But anyways, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you next time.